Welcome to the Fulfilled Musicpreneur Podcast. This podcast is for you if you are a Christian artist and you want to grow your listeners, make greater impact, and grow your business. Meet your host, A.B. Ogini, a lifelong singer, pediatrician, recording artist, music business coach, and founder of the Fulfilled Musicpreneur Academy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fulfilled Musicpreneur Podcast. Wow, I am so glad to be here today. This actually feels a bit weird. I feel like I have not done a solo podcast in so long. It's weird. I have been so busy with all of the different things that has happened. Um, so everyone has been saying, I cannot wait to hear about the tour. How did it go? And first of all, let me just start by saying this is for everyone. This podcast is for everyone today, whether you're an artist or not, which is why I am streaming on Facebook as well. It is for everyone because if you are there thinking, oh, I'm thinking of starting a new project, I think God is calling me to do this, but I feel like I'm underqualified. I have all of the nerves. I'm second guessing myself. This is for you because I never in 1,000 years thought I was going to be doing this. I just thought I will sing in church and that will be enough. And then next thing you know, I am releasing music and I'm being invited out on tour. But there's so many things that happened that let me know that it was like God had designed the 10 days for me. So first of all, let me start by saying, it was a huge testimony how I actually got called out on tour because, so you know that I started this new project this year called the Harmony and Healing Project, and it's all about creating resources for people who may either have teenagers that are going through mental health difficulties, and I'm really just hoping to empower and equip parents to help their teenagers. So I've been having podcasts and interviewing mental health experts, people that work with children, and we've been talking about practical things that you can do around the home to help your teenagers. Okay. And then I've been releasing music around mental health as well, with themes of mental health. And I've been really just trying to release music for different things that we may go through. Like the last one, someone is watching. Say hi, let me know who's watching. The last single that came out, if you have not heard about it, it's called what's it called now? It'll come to me in a second. So it is called Give Me Grace. That's it. And essentially, it was written for anyone who may be going through overwhelm. If you're thinking I'm too stressed, oh my goodness. From the moment I opened my eyes up in the morning, I was exhausted. That song is for you. So I've written multiple songs that may be addressing different areas. I have one more song coming out this year before it all comes out in an album. And I'll get onto that later at the end of the live. Okay. But I started this new project just out of a heart of service. I've been seeing so many teenagers who have going through mental health difficulties and keep bouncing back into the emergency department over and over again with multiple things, either overdoses, self-harm. And I felt that we weren't doing enough, or maybe I think really the truth is the NHS is overburdened, really. There are too few CAMHS and mental health workers to help these children. Plus, they can only do so much if the home is not a nurturing place for it. And many of these teenagers don't actually have a nurturing environment to go home to. So it is sad to say that we keep seeing them bounce back in. However, I thought, could we do more? Could we do more? And I started to create conversation around this. So I released one of my songs, the first song, the first new song that I released this year, and I got on a radio show in Dublin to talk about it, and I talked about how this whole project came about and how I had some personal experience at work that awoken me to the reality of what people go through, and it shook me so much that I had to do something about it. And that's how all of this started, right? But I was talking on this radio show, and the radio host heard the passion and heard my heart for it. And he said, this was after we finished the interview. He texted and said, AB, I'm organizing a tour around mental health. Would you like to be part of it? And I was like, for real? For real? um, Let me tell you what that meant for people who may not really understand. So, this means that there were a group of people who came together and said, we want to do this project. And then they started to call churches and venues in Ireland, and they agreed on dates. And then they put out flyers, they started to promote, and they started to invite people to these 4 nights all over Ireland. And and all I had to do was to show up. Sure, I had some interviews. I went on a podcast and talked about it. I went on the radio to talk about it, and I posted about it on social media. But it is unheard of for someone who is really new. I'm still really new, actually. Hi, someone is watching again. Please say hi in the chat so I can know who's watching. It'll be amazing to know. And I think when you're at the start, for you to have that kind of support to just say, look, I am going to vouch for you to people that say, this girl is amazing. She has an amazing project that she's doing. Her work around mental health is worth hearing. You need to come listen. For someone to do all of that for you, and I just have to show up, that's big. Come on, that is big. I know the amount of work that goes into trying to organize live events, to the point that I hate. I need to change that. I need to get my mindset right about live events. But my first live event, I feel could have gone a lot better. So I have dreaded organizing more of them. And as an artist, obviously that needs to change. And I will be doing one this year. But I know the amount of work that goes into it. So for people to come together and say, hey, I'm going to organize all of this, you just show up. That is big. That is big. So I think that, God is really faithful because he called me to do this. And sometimes I second guess myself and I ask, is this me that's just wanting to do this? Or is it God that's calling? And I believe that God has set a path for me to walk in. And the fact that I have felt peace through it all, and then to have something like this happen is just another confirmation that, yes, there's a reason why all of this has happened. Okay. So if you are new to something, as long as it serves the community, go for it. Go for it. As long as it serves. And I say this to my coaching clients all the time. I say, look, God cannot direct a stationary vehicle. He will only really direct you when you're on the move. So if you're thinking, oh, I feel like I'm being called to do more with my life, but I don't want to start doing the wrong thing. Actually, that's okay. Your heart has good intentions. Start and God will direct you. God will direct you. This has happened so many times. People start doing something and then before you know, they pivot, they shift to something that feels more right, that feels better. So we need to trust and leading of the Holy Ghost for things like that to happen. Okay. So for anyone who's thinking, I feel I'm being called for more, go for it. Go for it. That is my advice for you. And so I wanted to just share about the tour itself and some of the lessons and some of the reflections I had from it. First of all, going on tour as me and my guitar, that's big. I'm laughing as I'm saying it. That is big. Because I am still learning to play the guitar. I'm still learning to play my songs. I am still learning. But from really early on, I knew that it will be hard to always travel with a band. And I knew that there will be times when I'll have to play my songs with my guitar, and I prioritize that. But it still sounds basic. When you hear me playing, you know that this is basic playing. And everyone says, AB, your voice is the main instrument, and the guitar just supports you. And that's okay, because it's a journey, right? It is a journey. And I know that if I keep learning and I keep learning the craft, there's a possibility that that will change one day. And my playing will maybe even be as good or better than my voice. You never know. But I took a leap of faith. I started to learn the guitar. I had a live instructor come out to my house to start to teach me just before the pandemic hit and we went into shutdown. So I'd done a couple of lessons, and the rest of it has been self-taught, self-taught, watching videos and things like that. But hallelujah, I actually traveled with my guitar and played for myself. That's ridiculous. And people responded. People were blessed. People were blessed. Um, Someone asked me, well, oh, why did you not travel? Why didn't you get someone play for you? I said, look, it will be amazing just for me to focus on my vocals and let someone play for me, but they'll need to travel with me. I'll need to pay them. And this was really, it wasn't a tour that was going to pay a lot of money. Some of the events were actually free. So I was like, no, I'm going to play for myself. But there were a couple of things that I learned. The more I did it, the better I got. I focused on certain songs, and the more I did it, it just came easier and easier. And it reminded me of what someone said about performance. She said she had gone on tour, and because she was doing it so often, it came really easy for her. And some of the people I toured with, you could tell that they'd been doing this for so long. They did it so well that you could tell they'd been doing spoken word, they'd been rapping, they'd been working together for so long. And watching that just made me aspire to that. Like, look, I need to keep my skills active. I need to keep doing this. I need to organize events. I need to do this, because the more I do it, the better I'll get. So that's number one reflection. The more I do it, the better I'll get. And it's actually, pretty, you see the results pretty quickly. Number two, people ask me, how did you get invited for tour? And I will say again that it is this need. You see a need, you meet it. That is powerful. You see a need in a community, you meet it. That is powerful. Because once people hear what you're doing and they see that that is so needed, the response will be immediate, it'll be positive. People will want to support you. So if anyone asking that, how in the world have you managed to do this? It's down to your message, down to your branding, down to what are you being known for? What are you being known for? The clearer your brand is, the clearer it is what you're about, the easier it'll be for you to move forward. Right. So I've currently worked with many clients, many of my paying clients. We get deep down into their life, their experiences, any transferable skills that they've had, and we begin to bring out things that they might be able to be known for. And it could be one of my clients, it's marriages. She inspires couples. She has a podcast. She and her husband has a podcast to help marriages and to inspire them in being friends and in staying together and being together and enjoying it through the various seasons of their lives. And even though she might write worship songs and lead worship songs, that being known for marriage is what will open doors for her to take her music even further. Um, Someone else that I worked with went through a divorce, and she wrote a book out of it, all about the journey to finding fulfillment again in your singleness. And then and then she then went to write about how you could start to explore relationships again and finding your partner again if you wanted to. And then we worked on a strategy where she's known for her work around that. So she is talking about fulfillment in your singleness, how to bounce back from a messy divorce or a marriage breakdown and things like that, because it's needed. There are people that would appreciate that kind of work, right? So whatever that need is that you're meeting, um, go for it. And if you're an artist and you just say, well, I just write worship songs, I don't really have anything I know, I would encourage you to actually dig deep, because we're all unique with unique stories and unique gifts. Is there something that you can help people with? Is there a need in the community that you can meet? Because that will open doors for your music as well. Okay. Um, so anyone who's wondering about how they can move their music forward, I will absolutely ask you to work on your brand clarity and take it a step further. If you're saying, I don't know how to get started, yeah, book a call with me. Book a call with me. In the description below, there's going to be my Calendly link. Book a call and let's talk about it. Okay. Number 3, people who are thinking about starting something new, this is my advice: start now. Don't wait for your skills to get better. Don't wait to get training. Don't wait to do a course and be qualified. Just start now. Life is your greatest teacher. If you're experiencing certain areas and you are ahead of some people in that area, you can serve people already. So just get started. Start now. Um, and don't second guess yourself. This is number 4. Like, honestly, when I started out this year, I kept thinking about the fact that I wanted to serve teenagers, and I kept coming back to the question of, was I cool enough? Was I cool enough to talk to teenagers? you know, what I felt like you have to be hip, you have to have the language, you have to dress a certain way, you have to have a certain way, mannerisms to talk to teenagers. And me, my conversations in my podcast were serious. I was like, I don't think teenagers will engage with this at all. And then I figured, okay, do you know what? I'm going to have events for teenagers and the podcast will be for parents. That's what I thought in my head. And then I went out on tour and I told these stories and I sang the songs. And I got people coming out to me. I got teenagers coming out to me to say, thank you for sharing that story. I was that girl in the hospital with an overdose. Another person said, thank you for singing that song. It really got me. It got me thinking about this thing that I went through. Um, Thank you for singing that song. And I was like, wow, I didn't need to do anything more than what I was already doing. I shared the story behind the song. I sang the song, and it blessed people and it blessed teenagers. I got teenagers asking me to sign autographs, and got teenagers asking me to take like their parents were actually taking pictures, of me and their teenagers. And I was like, I didn't have to be anything else than what I was doing already. Um, and that is a an awesome observation to have, that I don't have to be anything else. Just being me is enough to reach the people that I want to reach. I don't need to be hip or speak the language of the Gen Z population. I don't need to do any of that. Music is universal, right? Music is universal, and it will reach any age, anyone, it will reach them. And I'm just glad that I have the privilege of having my music heard by everyone and anyone, no matter what age they are, and hear back that it's a blessing to them. That is just such a blessing to me. And I think, yeah, that brings me to my announcement. So I loved the tour so much. I figured, do you know what? I just need to get into a pattern of where I'm planning things regularly through the year, because that is the life of an artist. It's not just releasing the music. You make greater impact when you actually sing in front of a live audience as well. So that being said, I am having a live concert in Derby in November. More details to come, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm having an a night of contemporary music where I'm going to share the stories, sing these songs, and it's going to be a blast. So wait for more info about getting tickets. Um, Save the dates. It's, I think, November 22nd. I will confirm that with you. But this is exciting, people. So exciting. I am excited just talking about it. And from January to March, I'm planning some home concerts. Home concerts. This is where you host me in your home. You invite your friends, your family, your neighbors, your work colleagues. I'm hoping that homes will comfortably take up to 20 people, um, get some neighbors to bring some chairs and things like that. But yeah, there are homes that, even though they look small, if you're having a party and you arrange the chairs, it can take 20 people easily. So I'm gonna be sending out invites for people to apply to be hosts, and I'm gonna travel to their homes, um, share the songs. And do you know what? I was thinking, many of us as Christians, especially people who may be introverted like me, sometimes you think, oh, it would be good um to engage more with your neighbors, to talk more with your neighbors, things like that. And if you're like me, all you do is smile and say hi and just um wave. And sometimes I remember to I struggle to remember names because I'm so bad at it. And the fact that I am not talking to them often, I don't know their names. It's awful. But having something like this, is a good reason to invite your neighbors and get to know them more. Say, hey, I'm having a concert in my house. I'm inviting an inspirational artist, as a soul, contemporary soul artist, to sing some songs and share some songs and share stories. So yeah, please come. I love the idea. I worked with someone who had it recently, and she traveled around the UK and had 35 home concerts. 35. She had a blast. Um, and what she did was, it was free, completely free. But every time that the hosts promoted the events to their friends, neighbors, and family, they said, look, this artist is raising funds for our next album. So everyone coming, can you plan to donate something, whatever you can? So everyone that came made a donation. Also, there was some merch items, maybe things from £5 and things like that. And yeah, I'm hoping to do some of that from January to March. So if you are in my email lists, expect to receive an email from me with how to apply if you're interested, or better yet, if you're interested and you want to have a chat about it, just message me and let's get talking. Okay. So yeah, those are the big announcements. Home concerts happening early next year, and the album release concert happening in November, which I'm so excited about. All right. Thank you so much for everyone who has listened. I am going to sign off now and go to bed because I'm working tomorrow morning. But I hope you have had something that has inspired you from this live or from this podcast episode. I'm hoping to get back to doing regular lives because I haven't even done one in so long. But yeah, everyone, take care. Have a lovely week and see you next time on another episode of the Fulfilled Musicpreneur podcast. Bye for now.
You're listening to the Fulfilled Musicpreneur podcast. Make sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Also, if you haven't, download a free copy of AB's ebook, 7 Days to Living Fearless, by clicking the link below. See you next time for another episode of the Fulfilled Musicpreneur podcast.